How you doing?
I'm good.
Happy
How are you?
Easter.
Likewise. How was yours?
Well, we still have a little guy who knows there's no Easter bunny that still loves the egg hunt. So
Oh, good.
this year we used the plastic eggs and we put money inside the eggs. That was pretty exciting.
Yeah, I can imagine. That sounds terrific.
How have
We
you been?
I've been well, thank you, and thank you for the update on how the spending plan for Dublin was coming along. And so I need to update that sheet, and we'll do so. So I appreciate that. So
Okay, good. Yeah, we sent that off to John Winston.
great, that's good. We were actually on the Saturday before Easter, we took our daughter's dog. She's staying with us, and she has this 100% husky rescue dog, and we took him out to Sycamore Grove Park in Livermore, and they were having an Easter egg hunt for children there. So when we pulled in, the park ranger asked us if we were there for the Easter egg hunt, and we said no. But
Dogs are terrific at Easter egg hunts. We have a little Labradoodle that participated.
Well, we have people coming in here and joining us now, so we're starting to load up. I know some people
What a
were
great caricature of John. Hi, John.
Hi, everybody. I'm in my car driving, so I think it would make you dizzy if you saw what was in my actual camera.
There's someone's belly.
Yeah, I think that may be Kathy.
Yeah,
Kathy.
Hi, yes. It's my belly. Now it's not. Now you can see my face.
Why don't you change your name from Zoom host, Kathy, to
Oh, do it. Oh, of course. I'm happy to do that. Oh, say Quantican tonight. Rename.
So Mike, I see you show up as JM Fulton, but that's you, Mike.
Yeah, I was always Mike before 9/11. Now I'm James Michael Fulton, you know.
I see. Okay. Well, we'll let people take a few minutes to get situated and loaded up here before we start with the announcements, and we'll certainly have a short announcement from you, Mike, and I'm also expecting Gaud Mamula and Erna Grass from our neighboring district. So we'll see if they show up, but if not, I can run through their announcements. But you're here, so we will leave that for you. And so I appreciated Maggie pointing me in your direction, so thank you.
You're welcome. Hopefully it's going to be brief, right?
Yeah. So we'll but we can book you back in for a longer session.
I'll do a briefie. I'll do a brief few minutes here.
That would be great. In fact, here's one of our announcers. Erna is joining us now. And hi, Stans, nice to see you here. Glad we got you on the list.
Yeah, thank you.
I will be right back, Pat.
Oh, good enough.
Oh my goodness. Someone's driving?
Indeed, John Winston is between things. So that's are you trying to tell me, Erna, you've never conducted a Zoom call while driving?
Probably not that actively.
Oh, goodness.
But I am known to conduct many phone calls while driving.
Well, my brother, who worked for Jacobs for many years and actually held their safety and health kind of officer role for a time, reminded me that you have to be careful, because even hands-free, you can be distracted whilst driving just because you're engaged in the important topic you're talking about. So that's a consideration. Bob Cowan's joining us. Hi, Bob.
Howdy.
We won't ask.
Basal cell carcinoma removal.
Okay. Did you go to Moe's?
Have you been to the Moe's? Yeah, get the stitches out on Wednesday.
Ah, well, we wish you speedy healing. Well, where Erna and I used to work, we would allow people about 5 or 10 minutes before we say it's time to roll. So we'll do that. We'll give people a few more minutes. And and then we'll cue you up first, Erna, for just a short update, and then we can book you back for a longer session, just like I was talking
Sure.
with Mike about. He shows in the list as J.M. Fulton, but that's Mike Fulton from San Jose, and so we have him, as well as if Gaud Mamula shows up from Livermore, we'll have a brief update there. But if he doesn't, we'll cover those items for them, and then we'll turn to our main program for this evening. I appreciate everybody turning out after the Easter holiday weekend. That can be a busy time, some people traveling, so forth. So. In fact, Gaud Mamula is just joining us now.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Gaud. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
And Barbara's coming in, and Marty Fishman, and
Okay.
Jack, Peter. So we have a number of people joining us. So this is, we appreciate everybody's taking the time.
So actually, I was meeting with a potential Rotarian, and I got a little bit late. So I said, hey, I got to go on this call.
Oh, ditto. I was just meeting with someone who's going to join Oakland number 3. Yippee!
Great, you guys.
And it was World Community Service that motivated her. So
wonderful. That's encouraging.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Actually, this is a husband and wife team. I'm very excited to get them involved.
Yay!
That's terrific, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess while we're chatting, one of the things, I haven't watched very much news today, but Kathy got us these little Ukraine flag pins, and I just have been wearing mine around whenever I can, and thinking about this, and this morning when I was out, I didn't have it on, but I saw that the famous chef who's with World Central Kitchen was talking about it, and I think the little Chiron at the bottom was talking about how many feeding centers they were running in Ukraine. And so I don't have it right at my fingertips, but we have in our district, we had a really good announcement about it. If we're interested in donating to them, that there's I can share that link back out again, and people can certainly do so. You can do it online, or if you're like a number of us who are senior enough that we're doing these donations through qualified charitable donations, there's an address and information to do that online too. So I just want to,
as a tax attorney, I can tell you there's no better deal.
Yeah. Well, why don't we, we'll have some more people joining us, but I think out of respect for the people who are here and their time, what I would suggest is we can go ahead. We'll just hear from our announcers and I've indicated these are just short announcements. We can always book people back in for a longer session. And so we'll invite Erna to kick it off here for a few minutes. And Erna, yes, you certainly can share your screen. If you have any snag, let me know, but you should be able to.
Yep, good. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thanks for letting me jump into your meeting here. I met a few of you in a lunchtime talk. I think it was literally the day before I was leaving for East Africa, and now I'm 1 week back, jumping back in. Pat has actually championed a digital device and communication package for South America schools and youth groups. And very similarly, my organization, Asante Africa Foundation, is in the midst. You guys are probably a couple steps ahead of us, but we are in the midst of meeting with not only Ugandan Rotary groups, but I'm a member over in 5170. So I've been talking to different clubs, And whether it's 22, 23 or 23, 24, I am, we as an organization are working toward this collaboration and trying to bring digital learning along with educational content and skill building content to young children who are of the middle school age as well as high school age. Particularly, and the reason while we work in Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, we have focused on Uganda primarily because only 19% of the girls have come back to school as of January, and only 42% of the children have come back. And we are working alongside the local government to not only bring them learning capability. These pictures here are what it's looking like if they can't afford to go back into school. And then if they can get back into school, we're working with them to learn what a tablet is and how to use it. And happy to go into a lot more detail. But one of the interesting things that is in our world in East Africa is most of our support over there are our young alumni from our programs who have now become Rotaractors. So they are super excited to be our boots on the ground and help do the digital training. So as you as an international foundation or international team start to think about, can you accommodate either teaming with us on our international grant? And if the answer is no, I would also be interested in just talking to you about maybe taking on one school. So a couple different options.
Well, thank you so much, Erna. What I would say is we have Jack Higgins, who's actively working on that continent with telemedicine initiatives. Yep. Marty Fishman is also doing Rachel's in Guatemala on in conjunction with the medical teams that he's been sending there to do eye surgeries for quite a while. So why don't we, if there are a few questions here before Erna, and Erna, I know you're super busy, so if you can't stay, that's fine. But I did want to just give people a chance to be able to talk with you a little bit before we move on to the next announcement. Any questions? I see Lee's got one.
Hi, Lee.
Yes, Pat, what is her contact info?
Here,
I'll share it. Yeah, you can stick it in the chat if you like, or I can share it out.
That'd be great. The chat would be great. Thanks.
And Jack's got his hand up.
Yeah, I just want to tell Erna that we're working with a school in far western Uganda in the Changwali refugee camp.
Oh, you're in the refugee camp. Okay.
Yeah, so there might be a possibility there for some collaboration. We're also working some other sites, but that specifically is the one school we're using that we're working with, that is in Uganda, and one school also in Kenya. So those might be the locations where if they have a school nurse taking care of a whole lot of kids, we can provide telehealth backup for the nurse. So I will have your contact information from Pat. I'll send you a note.
Absolutely. For us, because there is so much support in the refugee camps, the communities that we are working in are the host communities, but outside of the camp, because they don't have near the support that the actual refugee camps do. But yeah, would love to talk to you about that.
All righty, thanks you guys. If we're good on that, then go ahead, Mike, and you can share with us your stuff. And if you want me to pull up your one pager, I can, or if you just want to talk to us, that'd be fine too.
Well, let me talk to you. I probably have 30, 40, 50 slides rather than referring to those. I'm Mike Fulton, an 8-year member of Rotary Club of San Jose, and I've been the point person these last 3 years for the country of El Salvador. And I don't need to tell everyone here how poor a country El Salvador is following the Civil War, 35,000 gang members roaming the country. So it's been a tough life for kids in El Salvador. They estimate about 50% of the kids aged 13 to 18 don't go to school anymore. And of everybody in school, it's estimated about 60% have no access to the internet. So they need a lot of help. These last 3 years, I've taken 3 or 4 trips to El Salvador. Our Rotary has funded almost 20 projects there now in 3 years that involve 9 different schools and 1 rehabilitation center. And we've linked with a local Rotary Club in Santa Ana, El Salvador, which is in the rural area approaching the Guatemala border. So we've, through our Rotary these last 3 years, we've come up with about 27,000. We've raised 29,000 outside. So it's about 56, 57,000. And the kind of projects we've been doing are giving schools internet access, largely through the satellite. We've done 3 new playgrounds. We did an enclosed play court for the community and the schools. We've done a kitchen. We've done 30 tablets for a rehabilitation center that launched their first ever tele-rehabilitation, which is pretty amazing when you look at some of the video and what they've been able to do there. We put computers in classrooms, toilets, handicap access. We started a school band, which now plays not only in the school, but in their local village and community. So I think we've done some really good things. But one of the amazing things is of all these projects, no contractors, the parents themselves work on all of this. So the dollars go a long way, and there's some very skilled parents of the school children. I'm looking now for next year, not necessarily looking for money here, but get a little grander. I toured 6 schools, new schools that we haven't helped before. And one of them was so sad. It's on a mountainside. They have no water. They've never had water at the school. 120 kids, no water to drink, no water to wash their hands, no water to go to the bathroom. But they're on the side of a mountain, and about 2 kilometers up the mountain is a stream. The stream runs all year long. So we're looking at financing a pipeline running down the road, buried by the parents, that runs to the stream, and put filtration equipment in the school to bring them water. Phase 2 of that project that we're not able to finance now, however, is continue the pipeline to the village below and give the community water. So that'll be a big one. This year, what we're looking at, it hasn't been approved yet, is little bigger projects, about 31,000. We're asking our Rotary again for 10,000. We're not going to increase it. And we're raising 21,000 outside, including, I might say rather proudly, 6,000 from the local Santa Ana Rotary in El Salvador itself. So
Wow.
a lot of things going on.
Yeah, you know what, so we'll open it up again for just a few questions, but John Winston's on here, and as we're approaching April 30th, our president-elects need to declare with their spending plan and MOUs how they're going to allocate their DDF, district designated funds. How much for global grant, how much for district grant. But it's a reminder to us when we hear about that, Jack, or Mike, that there are other ways to do these projects. Like you're doing these with just pure cash, right? These aren't even international district grants. And so it's just a good reminder to us. So do we have any quick questions for Mike, or let's plan to have you back, and I see that Barbara's got a hand up.
Mike, I'm just wondering whether that water needs to be treated, or is it pure enough to just pipe in?
They tell me they've actually gone to the stream in the mountain and drank it in their hands, but I don't trust that. So we're going to put filtration equipment at the school where they collect the water. So it will be filtered.
For microbes, etc.
Right.
Not just dirt.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Sounds good. Well, Gaud Mamula is here. Let's hear a brief update from Gaud. Appreciate it, Gaud.
Yes, thank you, Pat. Well, we had a very successful fundraising for the ENT mobile facility, and that is going to be inaugurated end of this month, and I'm going to be there end of May. In fact, actually see how that functions in remote villages. So I'm
just
very
a
happy
quick
about
pause. Just a quick pause. That's an ear, nose, and throat mobile van for diagnosing youth with hearing impairment, such that you can intervene.
Correct.
So
and
they can learn to
mainly
speak.
for the remote villages. People don't have hospitals, and the children who have a hearing problem can't learn anything. So this cures that problem. So working with Rotary is working with the organization who has experience in doing the implants and all of that. But the grant was global grant was approved, and they needed $19,000. We successfully raised that, and I'm very happy about it. And so again, Pat included another write-up on thalassemia, which is a inherited blood disease for the younger children requiring a lot of transfusion. And so I'm getting more details into that, and they have asked for financial support. And one of the things I have done for the benefit of Rotarians is I actually approach the Indian community who are from that area, who are in United States. That's a good source of fundraising. So not all Rotarians. So they're non-Rotarians, but I was able to appeal to them and being able to raise the funds. I think we should try to do that from any people from any country.
Great tip. I really appreciate it. Barbara, again, another question.
I'm curious to know how you discovered those people,
Which people?
the Indians who were from there.
Well, the people with disease, or people with
The people that you're going to approach for funding.
Oh, okay. I'm an NRI. I know the people from that area, Indians who are US citizens, been working here. So there is a database available through my relations, and I contacted one, they contact another one and say, hey, here is the thing. This project ENT happened to be from my hometown. So then I knew a lot of people from there, and I approached them, and it was easy. But any country has immigrants here, they're well off. I think we need to think about finding out who they are and seek their help.
Super idea.
That's a great idea. I would say also that Goud is going to be stepping into being our international chair for Rotary Club of Livermore this coming Rotary year. So we're really delighted about that. We've watched him work for a long time and are just thrilled. So do we have any more questions?
You have a lot to teach me, Pat.
Well, we have a lot of people we can be taught by, John Winston, Cecilia Babkirk, and many others. And so there, I think, Barbara, how many people are on the Oakland 3 World Community Service Committee?
42.
42. So there are lots of teachers out there. Well, if we have no more questions for Goud, I would suggest we go ahead and invite Kathy and Bob Cowan, who are both Quantichem board members, to take it away.
So Pat, excuse me, I'll go to the potential Rotarian.
Okay, thanks so much, Goud. Thanks for checking in with us.
All right.
Okay, so I'm on, Mr. Coyle.
You were on.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm very happy to be here tonight, be invited to talk about Quantichem. I as you know, Pat lives and breathes international service projects and global grants. So it's really nice to put faces to all the names I've been hearing all year. So I'm going to start as if none of you know about Quantichem. I know some of you do, but I'm just going to start as if you don't. And essentially, I'd like you to imagine if you had a coffee spill or a boiling water spill. You had a child that tripped and fell into a fire, an open pit fire. And yes, you managed to get your child to acute care where they were kept alive, and then said, well, now you're well enough, you can go home. And that's the end of it. No follow-up treatment, no additional burn grafts, no therapy, no occupational therapy, no physical therapy. They just go home. And that's what the situation was like in most of South America and Central America until 40 years ago. And a young plastic surgeon named Jorge Rojas decided he was going to do something about it because he knew he was saving a life, but children were going back to a life that was not what they deserved to have. And so he formed Quantichem, which is all for the burned child. That's how you translate it from Spanish. It's a Spanish acronym. So our headquarters is in Santiago, Chile. And that's where all of this started to take place. And over the years, he has expanded his program to 3 centers in Chile and then satellite centers in Argentina and Peru and Venezuela, not Venezuela, sorry. They're trying to get into Venezuela and 6 countries in Latin America. So they treat children from all over the Americas. And what is really important about this is that if a child is burned when they're under the age of 2, and a high percentage of the kids are burned in the home under the age of 2 or 3, that in order for that child to achieve full rehabilitation, they're usually 18 years old. So these children are treated over the years, sometimes 3 or 4 times a year, skin grafts and other surgeries. And so I got involved in this about 12, 13 years ago. If you remember Carolyn Schutz, if any of you remember her, as she was the first woman governor of District 5170, she was introduced to Quanticam by a young Rotarian from the Dublin Rotary, Sergio Carvaccio. At that time, he was in Pleasanton, but now he was in Dublin. And so there's a strong relationship between Rotary and Quanticam. And I got involved because I saw a video of a little girl who had been just grotesquely burned when she was 6 years old. And she was 12 years old, telling us about what had happened to her. And the thing that struck me was she felt safe and loved, and she was happy. And she was still severely covered with scars. And what I realized is that if you have an institution that provides services not only to heal the pain of the wounds, but to heal the psychological wounds of the child and their families, and have their neighbors understand what's happened, you treat the whole family, you treat the whole child, and in the process, you give that child a life back that they never would have had if it wasn't for Quanticam. You know, it still brings tears to my eyes when I think about that, because here you don't think of children not getting that treatment. You know, Shriners Burn Center, you never think of a child not getting the treatment that they need to have a life. But that was the case 40 years ago, that's the case. So since they started this, they've fully rehabilitated about 130,000 children. And I just think that's very remarkable. And all the services they provide are free. Nobody pays anything to get the treatments they need, or the little compression garments, all the therapies. The transportation is paid, housing is paid. It's just a remarkable place. And I know when Bob first visited there, he came back and I asked him if he wanted to join the board, and it was like no hesitation, yes. So that's the story of Quanticam, and I know I've talked without a script, so I hope I've made it clear how important this is to me and how important it is to the children and families in the Americas, providing an opportunity to have a real life. And one of the things that I wanted to introduce tonight is that there is a new revolutionary new laser treatment available. And what it does, if I could share my
You should be able
screen,
to, Kathy.
Pat. Okay, so I got to share it. While I'm doing this, I'll tell you what it does. So let's see, here it is. Hopefully you can see this when it comes
All
up.
good.
I'm not seeing it yet. So
Yep, it's up, Kathy.
okay. Well, since I can't see it, oh, there it is. I'm just kind of, are you still seeing it? Okay.
Yep.
All right. That's a picture from the Rotary magazine in the Independent. I think it's 20 years ago. So
we're on your telemedicine slide, Kathy. It looks like that's, I'm not sure which slide number it is, but it's the telemedicine slide. So maybe you might need to get up to the top of your slide deck.
Are you seeing the laser treatment now?
Nope. We're seeing
okay, then I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to stop.
Okay.
I have a glitch here sometimes. Anyway, this laser treatment, what it does is when you do a skin graft or you have a burn scar, the laser just pokes miniature microscopic holes in the skin. They use artificial skin or real skin from the child, and they poke microscopic holes all through the graft. And that causes air to get through the graft tissue itself and generate healthy tissue and skin to grow behind it. And the significance of that is that if the healthy skin can grow behind the scar tissue, that will reduce the number of surgeries and the number of scars and everything else in terms of the recovery and rehabilitation of that child. And they've managed to buy one of these. We had a special fundraiser for that this year. And one of them, it's a very expensive piece of equipment, but it's going to revolutionize the treatment of these children in terms of how shortening the length of time that they're in hospital, the number of times that they have to travel to a center to have treatment. And it's just exponential what the changes are going to be like. And so because of this particular new treatment, Pan American Health has asked Quantichem to extend their program into 6 additional countries in Central America to create a database of children who have been burned. There is no database right now in this part of the world. There's one in Australia, in the Pacific near Australia. They've developed one there. And so the purpose of the database is to actually have a register of every child that is burned in the course of a year. And in South America alone, it's 6 million children a year are burned. 6 million. And if you know who each of them, if you know who they are, then you have a team that can say what treatments they use, how severe with the burns. They can put all these things into the register, and they can track these burned children from the time they are burned. And that way they can decide who needs to come for this treatment, especially the laser treatment, because there's only one machine right now. And what a difference that is going to make, just to know who all the children are, because we don't know. We just know that in South America alone, there are 6 million children who are burned. And if you think that is because there's no prevention, the prevention program that Quantichem has implemented is fantastic. And it's made a huge difference. But you still have people who are living with open pit fires in their house, kerosene lamps that tip over. They may have a stove, but it's not attached to a wall. Everything is unstable. And there's just situations that are ripe for people to have accidents, and burns are the most prevalent accident. So I know that you have so many things. I've been hearing like Erna's story and Guatemala and Gaud's story, that for $1,000 a year, that will pay for all of the treatments I described for one child. surgeries, the rehabilitation, the grafts, the travel expenses, education, housing, and compression garments. That's $1,000 a year. That's what it costs to treat one child. And with the laser, it's going to be a little bit more, but we're just keeping it at $1,000 a year to treat one child. And that's really the actual cost. And it just amazes me that they can do all of that when $1,000 here would just get you into the door of the emergency room. So it's not like there's millions and millions of dollars that we're asking for. It's a very different situation. So in the past, several Rotary clubs have sponsored one child, or Rotarians in that club might sponsor a child. And I know Dublin has sponsored a child for many, many years, Lee, and Palo Alto and Alameda and Livermore Rotary. And so my hope is that maybe if you have a little money left over, you might say, well, let's put a little bit aside to go towards Quanticam. Because you can imagine if you have $250 and 4 clubs pool $250, you've got $1,000. So I really feel very passionately about this. I know everybody on the board here. There's 3 of us on the board. Bob Cowan, myself, Bo Carvaccio, and actually Carolyn Schutz. And so we constitute a fourth of the board of directors for the organization. So it's very hands-on. We know what's going on. We take part in the decisions there. So it's not like we're just sending money to people you don't know. And I hope I haven't rambled on too much and confused you. I had a video I wanted to show because I think if you see some of the children, it's just amazing, the before and afters that the work that they do and how passionate they are and compassionate they are. And Bob, do you want to weigh in on anything?
Yeah, Kathy, you talked about the laser treatment. The thing maybe you need to point out is that the scars, the kids grow, but the scar tissue doesn't. So you either have to replace the whole scar tissue with a new skin graft, or this new laser treatment makes it so it can flex and grow and doesn't have to be replaced. So it's like a game changer in how much surgery and pain the poor kid has to go through each visit. So
thank you for sharing that, Bob. Yes, I should have said the reason that the child is 18 years old. If they're burned when they're 2, they'll be 18 or 19 when they get through, is because of the growth spurts. And I'm sure you've seen children who've been burned with webbing between their fingers, or severe indentations in their face or on their neck. And scar tissue doesn't grow. So if you have a lot of grafts done when you're 3 years old, you've had many, many, many more by the time you're 18. And that is, Bob, thank you for reminding me that this will reduce the number of regraftings that are necessary, because it's going to make the scar tissue more flexible. I think that's Bo Carvaccio there. So anybody have any questions?
Not so much a question, but I wanted to come back to one of the things about innovative ways that we can consider funding these things. I know in the past, Burn Children Foundation, which is the US 501c3 that you guys are on the board for, has simply taken cash donations, but it looks like this could be a candidate if we chose to, and clubs wanted to peel a little bit of their district DDF off. We could write an international district grant. I've talked a little bit with John about what the contours of that might be, and the key thing would be to have the the Rotarian participation. So that might be something that people could consider as well. And I just like for us to think about this. You know, we've just heard about the way that that Mike Fulton is doing his good work with cash grants. We've heard Erna, before she left, talk about work they're doing with cash and with a planned large global grant. But we have a lot of flexibility in how we tackle these things. And I just wanted to circle back to that a little bit about, again, if there are clubs who are interested and have a little bit of their district DDF that they might consider using in this way, we can see about putting that together. So it wasn't a question so much as a comment.
You still there?
Okay. I think we are. I think everybody,
Okay.
Most people are muted.
I was wondering if I have time to try and share the screen again. I turned off
Yes,
my
you
laptop.
do have time, Kathy. We like to wrap up by the,
Okay.
we booked this for 45 minutes, but we often take
Okay.
most of the hour. So feel free to do so.
I'm just going to try and play. Let's see.
Are you going to show the video? You'll need
Yes,
to check.
I'm going to
You'll
try.
need to check share sound for the
I
bottom.
did.
Okay. Good job.
I think it should come. It should be all right. I'm just going to share it from here, and hopefully you'll hear it. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. Oh, I think I'm good.
Not playing yet, Kathy.
Yeah, I think. I keep losing you guys.
You need to go to slideshow.
I know, but I'm not seeing anything. My screen is going dark all the time. That's my problem.
Yeah, you're rattling around in the presentation.
I know.
You've got the
I know.
1988 Rotary magazine.
I know. So I'm just going to quit.
article.
I'm just going to quit. I was going to show you a video. Every once in a while, I have trouble with this stuff, and my machine is not cooperating. So I'm going to stop. I'm sorry about that. I apologize. I had intended to show you this little slideshow, and it's not working. So
One of your slides mentioned telemedicine, and we've got involved with tele-rehabilitation services in El Salvador. How does telemedicine work?
well, what they do is they it's Jim?
Yeah, Mike, that's all right.
Mike, okay. They have these in their satellite centers. So they have telemedicine in Peru and clinics in say for instance in Peru or Colombia, Argentina, Costa Rica, and they show the visuals, the videos of the burns and the status of the burns to the people in Santiago. And so they have the communication between the doctors in Santiago and the staff in the other locations, wherever the clinic is. That's how they use it.
Okay, not with patients. Okay.
Well, the patient will be there with them, but they will be in the clinic, they'll be showing the status of the burns on it with a camera, and then the people in Santiago will make recommendations about how they do that.
Thanks.
And so they're hoping to have actual satellite clinics in Guatemala, Costa Rica, Honduras, Panama, and El Salvador. Actually, the only Central American country they're not being successful in is Nicaragua. So and this is all because of this laser, because they really feel like if they can use telemedicine and reach children and professionals in other countries, they can determine if laser treatment is the best treatment for that child. They're going to try and get them there to have it done. Yeah.
I have contacts with the largest private hospital in San Salvador, or in Santa Ana, called the Cater Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't know, just send me an email, maybe the kids are happy.
I will. I have a PowerPoint presentation actually from the people that are talking about the database, because this is where the whole database wraps into the registry and the treatment and all the centers. It's a really, really ambitious thing. But Pan American Health said, we want you to do this, but they're just giving guidance. Right, Bob?
Right. Go over and unmute. So.
Yeah. And Bo Carvacho has just come in. She's been on the committee longer than me and on the board longer than me. She's from the Dublin Club. So are there any other questions that you have? I'm happy to. No? Okay.
Sounds like not so. If that's the case, I want to thank you, Kathy and Bob and Bo for giving us an update on Quantikim. I would say, Mike, one of the things that well, Marty's still on the call here. Marty has been an advocate for the Rachel educational platforms in Guatemala, along with his medical intervention work. And we have one set of Rotarians from the Evergreen Club that I like to joke. They did their, we've done one global grant for Rachel's that was about 50K, and that's been completed, and we're in the process. We're just getting the second one submitted, and it's about that same order of magnitude. But our friends did the $5.99 plus shipping and handling Rachel project, because they were able to find in the little community they were working with in El Salvador, the mayor's office was open to the idea, because for them bringing internet was going to be prohibitively expensive, but being able to plop down one of these little educational servers that's preloaded with all this educational content and have the mayor support it and provide his office where they do have broadband and can train the trainers and so forth. So our colleagues in Guatemala shipped them the Rachel, and we're able to get it fielded and have provided us photos of them using in a number of classrooms with a projector for just, it's just pennies on the dollar kind of a project. So I just thought you might get a kick out of that and be interested in exploring it. It might fit for some of your communities.
One of the things I just wanted to mention is I've been trying to tap into the US and El Salvador embassy to see if any of the vice president's programs on the long-term arrest of immigration in the U.S. by helping those countries, but I can't seem to get any response. You think there's money somewhere to improve the educational infrastructure in El Salvador and Guatemala and others to just address immigration, but I can't seem to connect with anybody.
It's an excellent point. That triangle of countries, primarily Guatemala, Salvador, Honduras, are certainly, if they had better opportunities and better infrastructure and better governance and all those kinds of things, that would be a big help. I know there have been some investment programs. I don't know the status of them nor how to access them.
Yep.
We just got back from Guatemala. We had Mundo Posible, World Possible, help us install the final half of the schools in our town called Santo Tomas La Union, a school of 10,000. And everything went very well. They have about 1,300 kids in a dozen schools, and no textbooks, a few desks, a few chairs. Teachers teach on a blackboard. And we've also gotten our local school superintendent for Los Gatos involved in donating eventually truckloads really of desks, chairs, Chromebooks, school projectors, MacBooks, all sorts of things that are all surplus. And from what I hear, school districts all over the state, if not the country, have warehouses of things just sitting around waiting to get rid of them for very little money. So we're working now on trying to get a shipment down there of a lot of these things. And we've talked in the past about how there are challenges, whether it's shipping, getting through customs. I found a trucker recently who might be able to do it. But the one thing that stands out is with Rotary, there are connections, at least in Guatemala, through the Guatemalan Embassy in San Francisco, through one of the big clubs in Guatemala City, so that they seem to have access eventually to the customs officials to get things through pretty easily. So our job now that we finished with these schools, at least in this one school district, is to figure out a way to get everything packed into containers or on trucks, get it down there, be there when they arrive so we can reassemble them, deliver them, and so on. One of the schools we served has no electricity. It's in the middle of a coffee finca. So we're also working on trying to get them a solar energy system so the teachers don't have to take home the Chromebooks and Rachel every night and recharge them and then bring them back in the next morning for the kids. And
That's exciting, Marty. That's really terrific.
we put one Rachel in the school, in the town library. These devices have a range of 150 feet. They can serve up to 80 users at the same time using different things. Whoever has access to them can bring in the classrooms their own modules. They can go home, the teachers can go home, and if they do have internet service, or even if they just have a laptop, they can create a module, a video, they can bring it in, load it onto the Rachel, and they can use that for their specific class and their specific project. And I was looking to buy one just to show our club and pass it around a little bit. I think the price has gone up to $750, but they're back ordered a month or two right now. But it truly is a remarkable device for people who don't have internet access, but have electricity and some secure way to store these. And in Guatemala, the 3 or 4 people who run the program there, who are there full time, maintain these. For example, they came down to install the new 5 schools, but they also upgraded the past 5 schools that we did 3 years ago before COVID. So they're all currently up to date. And then they educate the teachers, get the parents involved. And then the other thing we're looking at is eventually we hope to be able to add adult education to these devices so that adults could either come to the school or hang out near the school and learn English, Spanish, entrepreneurship, some accounting skills, whatever it's possible. So education-wise, it's great, and they use a simple Chromebook, which is fairly inexpensive. So I think it's a great program, and also I think there's a great opportunity for your local school districts that have a lot of surplus materials to start looking at ways to really use them effectively for their needy neighbors south.
That's a great report, Marty. Thank you much. Kathy, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I did. I had a question for Marty about, well, for everybody really. At the Jennifer Jones dinner, one of her pet projects is the tutu desk, which is, it's a sort of a artist palette shaped desk that curves around the child, and it's made of a heavy duty vinyl coated cardboard, I think. And it's quite impressive that you can get one of those for $35. And like if you're in a classroom where there's no desk and there's no electricity and there's no chairs, these desks, the kids can sit on the floor and actually have a something that they can actually write on. Now I know we're talking Chromebooks and Rachel's and technology, but at the same time, if you really need to get desks, I was very impressed with those. So I didn't know whether you were aware of them or not.
No, I heard her talk. I don't remember that, but I mean, we're looking at free desks, which is even better.
Yeah.
Free is good.
Free is good. Free is good, but if you have to pay for I was just thinking the shipping and the containers and it's just a thought. I mean, there might be maybe not in Guatemala, but there might be other places where this kind of desk would be appropriate. So that's all.
All righty. Well, perhaps just going around the grid here, are there other people who've got comments or observations? Stans, go ahead.
Yeah, I actually have a question. So I'm new to this group. I'm co-chairing the Palo Alto WCS team. with Mike Reynolds. And one of the things we're looking at, unrelated to projects, we have a policy document that, is like 10, 12 years old. And we were looking at updating that. So this is pretty much, are there certain regions the club is primarily interested in, but are kind of the requirements for how we pick projects. And I was curious if other WCS committees have these kind of documents, and if you would be willing to share that with me.
Great question. I've looked at the area documents from Area 6 and Area 3, which are more extensive than which have pooled together. They do they've got committees at the area level for doing projects together. They were willing to share their documents with me. I co-chair Area 4's Global Grant Committee, but their charters are broader. They do district grants. They have a more structured, or perhaps you might say a more mature way. So I can certainly follow up with you and put you in touch with them. And then I also recall that there may be other clubs. Barbara, you may, for example, with your large and extensive group, you may have some good policies too, as I recall.
I think Barbara is muted, but I would definitely appreciate that, Patrick. Yeah.
So I'll follow up and I'll check with Barbara. Can you hear me okay, Barbara? Am I correct that you guys have got a pretty extensive set of policies for your World Service
Sorry,
Committee?
I was just in chat telling Stans to let me know what kind of documents she needs.
Okay, good enough. I'm sorry.
I sent it privately, so you didn't know, but
no worries. That's great.
I'm happy to oblige, no problem.
Talk to you, Barbara. I'll send you my email.
You have my email from the announcement of this meeting.
Perfect.
It's in the addressee block from Patrick.
Perfect. I'll reach out to you. Thank
Sure,
you.
perfect. I'm happy to do
terrific.
That as well. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Anything else before we wrap up? So it sounds like we may be there.
Do a good job of running a meeting.
Yeah, can I say I'd be interested in the policy as well. It's real helpful to have, a guideline for how to evaluate projects, because there's so many wonderful projects going on. But
yeah.
And I also want to mention too, anybody who's doing projects in East Africa area, I've started a monthly online Zoom to talk about specifically East Africa culture projects, and Dr. Jack's been on it already. And so just let me know if you're interested in being on it. I went through the whole district and tried to find everybody who is doing an East Africa project, but anyone is welcome to join in. So thanks.
And Tanzania in East Africa? I don't even know my map.
Yes, we would consider that East Africa.
I've been real involved with someone, the member there. So maybe send me your email if she's.
Sure, I'll post it in the chat here.
And it also, Jack, it will be in that same list that Barbara mentioned. So the announcement for this session has got Peggy's email in there as well. But if she's putting it in there for you, that's terrific. Okay. All righty.
Well, Pat, I'd like to thank everybody for their patience tonight, because I run these meetings for other people all the time. And wouldn't you know, when I try and run a meeting and share my screen, my machine crapped out on me. So thank you for your patience.
In the best of families, I understand. So.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see many of you at the district conference, hopefully all of you. So coming soon. All righty. Good night, all.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.